Welcome to the Educator's Table podcast, where early childhood educators pull up a chair, get real, start conversations, and grow together. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
So I'm Vicky.
I'm Emily.
And we are the Educator's Table. This is our very first podcast.
We're so excited.
We're so excited and a little nervous. We're not
podcasters.
We're not podcasters.
We're gonna be podcasters.
I would say though that we are professional conversationalists.
Facts. Yes.
Facts. We have a lot of conversations. I think the reason why we wanted to start a podcast is honestly that there have been so many times where we have these like super fun closed door meaningful, inspiring conversations, and then people ask us about what we talked about and we can't remember.
No, people need to know. People need to know what we're talking about.
They need to know, and we need to start recording these so that we can share them with people and start conversations and inspire each other, because I feel like this is just such an isolating, lonely career to be in, and we need each other.
We do.
We do.
We do. We need to build a community of educators who feel supported, seen, heard. Be a part of the conversation.
Totally. Okay, so why don't we start by you introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about like why you became an educator and like.
All right, it's a whole thing. It's a whole story.
Let's start. Let's get into it.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emily. If I'm being so honest, you know what? When I was born, from like the second I opened my eyes.
Oh my gosh, we're like we're going way back.
Way back from the beginning, so you really get the vibe.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning. I opened my eyes and I was like, I am meant to be a mother. I am meant to love children, and I knew that like so deep down in my heart, and like have always loved kids so much, and like was the mother goose of the family. I don't know if anybody relates, or just like kids love you when you love kids, and like it's all I ever wanted. When I was in grade 12, graduating high school, had a couple options of what I thought that I might want to be, but working with children was so present in my mind that it was honestly like number one for me. So I ended up graduating, and I immediately wanted to get into childcare, not knowing anything of like what it took and what it was about, honestly. And then I just walked into a center and I was like, hey, are you hiring? Like, I would love to work here. And they were like, yeah, we are. And so I got the job, and then it was for out of school care, and it shook me. It was not what I was expecting, honestly.
I mean, listen, we can't all have great experiences everywhere we go.
No, it felt like I was wrong, honestly. Like I ended up getting into a center that didn't align with what I thought it was going to be, and my whole world was shook, because like I really thought that childcare was for me and I was going to succeed in it, and it wasn't that. And like at the time I hadn't got the support that I needed, and I didn't know where I was going, and I didn't have any like training, or like I hadn't completed my level 1. I didn't even know that level 1 was a thing. Like I was really unprepared, and I ended up leaving and quitting and just being like, I have no idea what is like left in my life if it's not working with children. And so I ended up working other jobs over the years, and just kind of ended up in a position where I was working with seniors, and then I was back in that like nurturing, caring environment, and it kind of like lit something in me again that was like, I need to be like in the realm of this. And eventually I ended up leaving that job because that was like COVID times. Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
We ended up leaving. And so my sister fortunately did find her path in childcare, which she loved so much, and ended up working at a center who needed support because all of their staff were sick and got into car
Are
accidents.
we talking about my center
We're
now?
talking about your
Oh
center.
my gosh,
Yeah.
my center.
Yep. She called me up and she was like, "Can you come sub?" And I was like, "No." Childcare is not for me. I did it once. I'm not doing it again. And she was like, "No, this is different. Like this center is great." And I was like, "Fine." So I was like, "You know what? I'll give it a try." So I came for the day and I was like, "You know what? This is a lot better of an experience." So I kept coming back because I think you needed me for like a week because just it was Christmas.
It was the week before Christmas.
It was
break.
Christmas. Yeah. And so it's like,
Everyone was sick. Everyone was dying.
yeah. And so I went and I kept coming back and I was like, you know what? Maybe I do like this. And so you were like, "Hey, I'm going to hire you right now. You don't even have to have an interview." I was like, perfect.
Like, actually, you're not leaving. You're coming back after Christmas break.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I ended up getting my level 1 and finding the passion again that I once had and fell absolutely in love with it, and like that this is where I was meant to be, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And gosh, I learned so much, like more than I ever thought. Then I completed my level 1. I went for my level 2. I completed that. And then, you know, over the years of being in childcare and learning as much as I did and growing and building relationships, we started to realize some holes in the industry together.
Yes.
Which is kind of where the Educator's Table leads for me, is that I want to create something that I didn't have, not because you couldn't provide it for me, but because it just didn't exist. And so that is my story.
And that's where it all began.
I know.
Man, crazy. We've known each other for like
3 years.
3 years now.
Yeah.
Where you just like landed in my lap and I just never let you go. That's really how it went.
Yeah.
So when I started in childcare, okay, so let's go back to my childhood now.
Okay.
You started from the moment you opened
The
your
womb,
eyes.
you opened your eyes. What were you feeling?
Yes. So my story didn't start that far behind. I mean, I did some like babysitting growing up, and
Right.
like I always did like volunteer for like the kids program at church growing up and like all that, and I love to be a leader. I think during that experience, it was more that I was establishing like my leadership style more than my love for kids.
Yeah.
That was always there. It's just that when you're a kid, you can be the leader of kids. Like
Right.
there's,
Yeah.
so I had to grow in my leadership before I could actually lead other adults. But I did always find myself, in some sort of leadership position with children. But I was so adamant on not being a teacher. I come from a family of teachers, and I struggled so much with figuring out what I wanted to do with my life. And my grandpa had always told me, "Well, you're going to be a teacher." And I was like, "Stop it, grandpa. That's not
No.
happening. I'm not a teacher. It's not who I am. I want to be like the leader of something." "No, you're going to be a teacher." So I ended up starting this business program I went into when I was a student. And I really found my love of business and leadership through that program. And then I went to university. I was doing a business degree. And then I kind of like learned about the idea of what a day home was. I didn't know. I had a stay-at-home mom growing up, and so I didn't even know that early childhood educators or like daycare workers was even like a thing.
Right.
There was always 3 or 4 kids from my class that would like go to out of school care after school, but I never really like thought about it past that. I just thought it was kind of like a place where they hung out till mom came to pick them up. And
Right.
so when I like graduated, I didn't even know that daycare teacher was an option or early childhood educator. It wasn't even in the realm of knowledge for me. And so I went in for my business degree, started learning about day homes, because I had at that point people in my life where their children went to day homes. And so I started looking at that from a business perspective, and I was like, that seems like something that I could do where I wouldn't have a boss. And it could be like a fun experience. And so I took a little detour and I actually worked at a bank for a while, and I was a small business financial advisor, which now come to think of it is such a weird part of my life. But it really set me up to end up being a daycare owner.
Right.
It gave me a lot of knowledge on like the behind the scenes part of owning a daycare. I realized from being a small business advisor that I was just like helping other people achieve their small business dreams while I was not.
Right.
And so I ended up leaving and starting a day home in the basement of my house. I had just bought this house, and we kind of bought with like the layout where it was set up to be like a perfect day home, because like right by the front door there's like the entrance to the basement, and so it felt like it was kind of like its own little like day home entrance, and it felt really like perfect for that. And so I started my day home. I ran it for a couple of years, and within those years we had grown so much where I had a wait list of like over 50 kids to come into my day home. We were like out and about in the neighborhood all the time and like exploring, and so people saw us and wanted to like have their kid be a part of it. And so it got to the point where we would have to turn people away from the wait list, and then people were like, start a daycare. And I was like, oh my God.
Get every child.
All of
like
them. And so I was like, that's interesting. And so I kind of like started looking up what it would take to open a daycare, and the like finding a space and everything. And it turned out that 10 minutes from my house there was a daycare space being built, and it was going to open in like a year and a half from then. It was literally fate. Like I feel like I was really just like thrown into this industry, and just like I didn't really have a choice. It was just like what people wanted me to do. It was like, so yeah, anyway, it really did. So we ended up putting a deposit on this daycare space that was supposed to hold like it. They said between like 80 to 95 kids, which is so crazy coming from experience in childcare, no actual formal experience. Like,
yeah,
it
blind,
literally running into this completely blind.
Right.
And a lot of it's so funny because a lot of people that you hear about that open daycare centers is like, I had a dream for so many years, and like they made it from the dream, but really like my dream was just to own a business and to be able to make a difference with my leadership in a business of some sort. I didn't necessarily know what it was, and then childcare just kind of fell into my lap. And so when I told my family that we were going to open a daycare, my grandpa looked me dead in the eye, and he was like, so you're a teacher? And I was like, stop. Yes.
You're right.
Actually, I did become a teacher, but I became a teacher on my own terms, in my own way.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. Yeah. So yeah, the rest is history, I guess. I found your sister, I think on Facebook is where I found her.
Great place
she
to hire
came,
people.
Yeah, she came for an interview, turned me down.
Said, no way, Jose.
Said no, left.
How rude.
Rude. But then a couple of days later, she came back.
Begging.
And then never left. And then I got the
package
absolute
deal.
Honor of having you come into my center.
Oh, so cute.
And I feel like you have been a catalyst in big word catalyst
big deal.
in my growth as an educator and as a leader in the center, and then also just like inspiring that like flight play based framework in our center. I was gonna say curriculum, and that's like, don't say curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like we've just had so many like really cool conversations, and all of the like really cool ideas that we've started in the center have always like started from you and from like our conversations behind closed doors or late at night or like after staff meetings. And
I think that it's really interesting that you feel that I've brought more of like the early educator out in you because you've brought the leadership out in me. And so it's really been a great balance of like sharing knowledge and skills and expertise. And like, I wouldn't have the confidence to try and start something like the educator stable, or to honestly like speak up and share ideas and opinions and grow into a leadership role, and that I've never had an opportunity like that or thought that I could do it until we met each other and you facilitated all of this growth and empowerment for me as a person and my individual growth. And so like that is crazy that, you know, what a relationship that we both get to take away something from each other and that it like continues to grow. It's crazy.
Totally. Do you remember one of the very first things that I told you when you started as a permanent employee at my center?
No.
No. So one of the things that I told you was that I wanted you to outgrow me.
Right, right. And that is what I love. I do remember that conversation, and I remember as soon as you said it, I was like, huh? That is so out of the normal for I don't want to say boss because it doesn't really feel like that, but like for a boss to be like, I want you to leave one day. Like, but do you not love me? Do you not care about me? You don't want to keep me forever? But
If I did,
yeah.
I would be holding you back.
No, and it's true. So I'm grateful for the way that that happened. And yeah, I just remember being like, that is crazy. Nobody's ever said that, but like so fitting on your part to be like, I want you to learn, I want you to grow, and I want you to do what makes you happy always.
Yes. Like, listen, if people leave my center to take like on a lateral move, so if they just go from being a level 1 educator and they move to another center to be a level 1 educator, I feel like I failed.
Right.
I want people in my center to be learning and growing and to feel like inspired, but not to feel like stuck at my center.
Right.
Like I would love for people to grow from a level 1 to a level 3 and then like leave and find management positions or like something somewhere else. I want educators that always want to be like moving and growing and looking for something more. Because that's really like the lifespan of an educator is like I don't necessarily, unless it's what people truly want, is to
Right.
be a level 3 educator for 20 years, and if that's where they find their love and their passion and everything, fantastic, but like grow within that. But it feels like so many of the people that I'm drawn to, that I hire, that I bring in, they do have the capacity and they I guess like drive to want to grow and to hopefully again like outgrow me and leave. Like I want to be the one that like helps them like build their wings, and then eventually they fly on out to somewhere else and they bring that with them, and then again like it's that whole idea of being like a catalyst, right? Where we want to start something of just like so much passion and inspiration and drive to just like go out into the world and like bring that to other centers. And see, everyone also tells me that I need to keep opening centers so that they have somewhere to go and somewhere to manage. It's like, open another center so that I can be the director there.
Me. Yeah.
But listen, there are so many other like ways and places that you can go in early childhood. And I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe those positions don't like exist yet, but I feel like if we start this like learning journey together and we can inspire people and just really like raise the bar on what early childhood education is, then maybe there will be like other positions out there that just don't even exist yet.
Yeah.
To just keep bringing growth in this industry.
Yeah, huge opportunity for growth.
Yeah, when I started in this industry, in like when my daycare was open, I felt really, really alone and isolated, and that there was not a lot of support, and that every daycare was so closed off. There weren't a lot of communication between daycares, and
The competition It's not a competition, guys. It's not a competition.
We're all seeing it. I feel like there are so many kids in this world, in this province, in this city, that we're not necessarily like competing with each other. I mean, at the end of the day, we are, because we want to fill spots and fund our centers to pay the staff and to keep going. But I don't love all of the gatekeeping in the industry, and just like the lack of willingness to share. And so in my first year well, honestly, when I first started the daycare, I was pregnant. So I was away on mat leave for a while. And then when I came back, I made it my personal mission to connect with as many people as I could.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be like a hub where I could connect parents, educators, like everybody, with other people that would help them learn, grow, get the support that they need. Because again, like, you were feeling that there wasn't a lot of support for you, and I didn't necessarily have the expertise and the early childhood educator background to give that to you. And so I wanted to just expand and grow our reach and our resources, and just have people that we can reach out to help us with that. So that was when we brought in ARC, and they're now called Kids Included. They were Grit back then, but now they're Kids Included.
Okay.
And we found all of these resources to bring in so that we could grow as a center and that you could grow as an educator. And so we found like our flight coach, and we started on our flight journey.
We did. That was so much fun. I love flight so much.
Yes. So our flight journey was an interesting one, and I feel like it's still going. Like, you can never become an expert in flight, honestly. There's just it changes.
It's open-ended. It never ends.
It's open-ended, honestly. Like, and you just keep learning and learning, and like bringing new ideas in, and it just keeps getting better and better. And so tell me about when we first started flight and how you felt about it, because I feel like when we started the center, we were very theme based. It was dinosaur month.
Here's my thing. It was dinosaur month worth of dinosaur activities. Maybe it's just me, but it's running a little dry. Polar bear month. I'm like, oh my God.
It wasn't polar bear.
Sorry,
Arctic
animal month. And I was like, there's
in
only
the dead of
so
winter.
many we could do.
Yes.
Having flight made me grow so much as an educator. When I first started, we were not flight, although we claimed to be. Don't know if anybody can relate to that. But so when I was hired, I was in the toddler room with my sister, who was the lead educator. And so both of us were running that room. And Vicky was pregnant. So she was
I pregnant? No, I had my baby at the time.
You were, yeah, you had the baby, but you were being a mom.
Yeah, I was on mat leave.
Yeah,
I was away.
you were doing your thing. You were away. And so I had all of my sister's knowledge to depend on, and what she said was how it was done, and I was kind of like learning through that. And I remember when I first started, there was this gigantic mountain of crafts laying on the table.
Like completed craft?
No.
Okay.
Uncompleted. And like it like drove me a little crazy, because I love to be organized. And I'm like, what is all of this paper doing here? Like, can we just do something with it? Like, what is happening? She's like, well, those are crafts that like I have to finish. And so we have to like do that in like our free time. Like, we got to add like the penguin beaks, and we got to add the googly eyes, and we got to put the cotton balls on, and we got to like, they're not finished crafts yet.
The kids have done all they can do, and then the educators are supposed to finish them so that they look like something in the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that was like a couple months of that, and it like took up so much time, and that was like my nemesis.
Exhausting.
I was like, because we're doing crafts every day, and then more crafts and more crafts on top of crafts.
Let's be honest, when you do crafts with toddlers and they're supposed to look like something, there's only like 3 to 5 minutes of their actual participation in that, because you're like, oh, we have to paint your hand and then stamp it. Okay, now go wash your hand. You're done. Don't touch anything else.
Exactly. It was, it felt barbaric at the time. Like, now knowing what we know now,
It's terrible.
Like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine. And that was my pet peeve. Is like, I told Jessica, I was like, hey, we can't keep doing these like crafts like this. Like, there's no time.
This
Like,
is
we
not
got
working
maybe
for
we
me.
pick easier crafts. But something that she was really strong at was sensory play, which, looking back into when I went to daycare, like, it has changed so much, even from like the point of when we weren't flight to when we were flight. That itself is even like a huge change. But just thinking back to when I was in daycare and what the standard was for that, and how, honestly, like, I don't remember doing a lot of sensory play. I remember maybe having a water table occasionally, and I loved it. But to be in a center that like did sensory play opened my eyes, and I think that was really one of our first steps into being flight, because it was something that we were really good at, and you really encouraged messy play, even though at the time we weren't flight, where you were like, we're still doing it, we're still getting messy, we're still doing so many sensory bins. So I learned so much about like activities, and
we became like the sensory center. Like, it was like all we did was just, we dove straight in, and it was just sensory all the time.
Yeah, it was something like, I don't know. I feel like you can't necessarily have like a predetermined outcome when you're dealing with like messy play and sensory play, because it's just do what you need to do, like get as messy as you want, like experience it however you want to experience it. And so that was something that we were really strong in. And then I remember getting our ARC coach and having the concept of like planning off of interests. And gosh, it was such a transition. And like, now that I do it and I know how to do it, like, it's so easy and I can see the benefit of it. And I'm like, it's literally like one of the best ways I feel. But because they stay interested in it, and it's not like Arctic month, but being in that and being able to observe children in a different way, it honestly built the relationship and the connection, which, like, not being play-based, like, we didn't really have that. Like, the center that it was before we became play-based was very educator-driven.
Yes.
Educator activities, educator in charge of everything, educator determining, educator, like, there was no room for children in the day.
And we struggled so much with that. And we would burn out of educators so fast.
Yeah. We didn't, it wasn't to take a second to see what the kids were interested in. It was just like,
it was, we're doing this, everyone come to the table because we're doing this activity. And even when they didn't want to do it,
you're like, no, you're doing it.
Yeah. You're like, your mom really wants this.
Oh my God, take the pictures. Take the pictures and post it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so being flight, you take a step back, and it's not about the educator. Like, sure, like, of course, like, being flight, like, if I see an activity that I'm like, oh my God, this would be so much fun, like, I'm going to sneak it in there because I want to do it. And that is also one of the things that I really appreciated, is that, like, you always pushed fun, and you're like, if you're not having fun, what are you doing here?
Honestly, I don't get it. How do you work in a daycare and
not have fun? Yeah.
Like, you're literally in charge of making the fun.
I remember,
if you're not having fun, it's your problem.
No, I remember the staff meeting when you said that, and you were like, guys, you can have fun. And I was like, oh my God, can I? This is crazy.
Your permission.
Well, really, like, in my head, I felt a huge responsibility to be that person that, like, is teaching children their numbers and their letters, and not that we ever did worksheets, but like, kind of like that vibe.
At
like,
least we were never worksheet people.
And yeah, and like, to teach them like the days of the week and the month, and like, very.
Yes. See, I don't know if you remember, but circle time was a big thing in our center when we first started. It was that we had very structured circle time, and that's just like what we thought everybody else was doing. And so that's why we did it. And then I think it was our flight coach that challenged us one day, and she was like, what if you just didn't? And we were like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Not do circle time?
What,
Are we allowed?
What if things were like optional?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
like, what if a kid wasn't into it and they could just do something else? And like,
Just not.
everybody has to participate.
Yeah.
It's not the way to go, guys.
So while you guys were in the toddler room, kind of like starting to experience sensory and messy play and all of that was, I was on my mat leave, but I was at home doing the flight course. So while you guys were also kind of on your journey, I guess like experimentally, like you were just in it and doing it. I was there behind the scenes, kind of starting to understand the theory behind it, and really starting to like understand what flight actually is. Because look, like I'm the business person, I wasn't the programs person, and so I just kind of hoped that that the educators would kind of take on the programming stuff, and that if you hired flight educators, then that means that your program would be flight, right? If all the educators
you just have fantastic educators
yes,
who would just do it for you.
Not the case.
Not the case.
Means your leader does need to know flight, and so during those months while you guys were kind of experiencing frustration with like the current way that we were doing things, I was also trying to break it apart in my mind and rebuild it in a way that would be flight, so that it would follow what you guys are doing, and that we could kind of take it on in our own way. And so that's why we got the flight coach, was because I was at home doing the flight program.
Right.
But she was my flight coach. So that was also kind of weird, because I was learning all these things on the course at home, like on the online course. And then I was coming into the center to be coached, and then I was leaving and going back home. And so it was a really like weird kind of situation, because I really wanted you guys to have the flight coach. But it was really like the coach was more assigned to me, but I wasn't in classrooms doing the things.
No.
And so that was a really challenging part of our flight experience too, because it was like, well, how do I like bring this?
It took a hot minute to get everybody on board and to translate everything that you were learning into our practice.
Yes. And I think that was where you and I started building our connection, was because I was starting to have all of these ideas, and the coach was giving me a lot too. And then I didn't have anyone to like talk to about it or like tell or anything.
Here's the thing. Once we both learned that things don't have to be a certain way is when both of us were like, whoa.
Yes.
And then it never stopped. It was like a ball rolling. And once we got out of the mindset of predetermined things and this is what it is, and it had to be that way. Yeah. Like, and it opened up our minds to that it doesn't, and what could childcare be, what could educator growth look like real educator growth, things that are practical, that, you know, everybody knows. Like, one of the struggles that I found was that not all of the support that I was getting was practical. And that was really frustrating for me. Some of the information and the people that were coming in maybe had honestly never even worked in a daycare, and so they don't get it.
That's really honestly what it felt like. I understood back then my limits in knowledge in the early childhood space. And so I encouraged a lot of workshops and
so much professional development.
So much professional development.
I was on that.
Like, yes, like you guys need to just like go out there and find stuff, because there's got to be people talking about the things that we're talking about and experiencing. And
very far and few between, honestly.
Honestly, like we took a series which like on flight specifically, which was helpful in the way it was helpful in the way that it started our conversations and
it was a shift.
It gave us the permission to let go of a lot of things that we were holding on to that we felt like we were supposed to do.
Right.
And then we kind of took off with it. And it always felt like we were searching for the next professional development or the next workshop or the next anything that would that would understand where we're at and help us keep propelling forward. And it just, for a long time, it felt like we never found it.
No, I tried.
we
I
attended.
attended. We attended. We
Oh.
sat. We tried
We
to
attended
learn.
so many things.
And it was a lot of the same content. And I was like,
it was
why
very
am I
surface
here?
level. And it
Nothing
was-
dug deep enough.
yeah, it would start and we'd be like, yes, this is exactly where we want. And then it would end and we'd be like,
We already know
but it
this.
didn't go deeper than that
No.
or further. And so we did hit like a plateau, yes. Where we just like didn't really know where to go from there. And I feel like our flight coach, Kaylee, was really instrumental because Kaylee became our new flight coach. I had a flight coach before Kaylee, but then she was promoted internally. And so then we got Kaylee. And I feel like when we got Kaylee, she also gave us a lot of permission to go past also what ARC was even offering.
Yeah.
And the knowledge that they had and everything. And so she was willing to deep dive really with us into who we wanted to be and the center we wanted to be. And she just like encouraged us to just take off with it.
Yeah, she was a huge dream supporter. And like, this is where we wish that we had a podcast, because if like you could have listened to the conversations that we would have in the office,
hours
like
of
the
conversation.
hours,
Yes.
like 3 hours, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to get back to my room. But
Yeah.
like the dreams were just flowing; they weren't stopping, and the vision that we had kept growing and growing and growing, and then it was at a point where, how do we make it happen? How can we provide it for others? Like, what could this field be?
And that was the moment that you outgrew us, Emily.
I did. It was the conference that we went to. We went to a conference together, which really solidified our friendship.
It did.
We had to sleep in a hotel
It
together.
did. We shared
I
a
was
room.
like, I'm with my boss. I was like, it's
God.
fine.
Do you remember driving?
I do. And then you were like, because you were
I was
present-
pregnant. I was pregnant.
You're pregnant and presenting.
And presenting. So this was a showcase. It was the ARC Showcase of Learning. And I was pregnant. I was so sick.
Yes.
And so we had to drive to Calgary together for this showcase. And I asked Emily to drive
Yes.
because I wanted to prepare because I had to make a speech.
And I went the wrong way. Immediately. I immediately took the wrong turn.
So we were, so I asked her to drive my car. And then she was like, no. Can
No.
we drive my car?
It's the anxiety driving girlies. It's fine. The
Yes.
like the sticker that's like, don't honk at me, I have anxiety. I need that on my car.
Like, I'm really trying here.
Yeah, I'm just a girl. That's
and so
fine.
I was like, Emily, I need you to drive because I need to prepare because there's the entire day of presentations tomorrow. I don't know where I'm going to fall in the day, but they're just all day long. And so if I'm the first one tomorrow morning, I need to be able to like prepare and everything. And she was so nervous about driving that we went the wrong way. Listen, we're like so close to the outside of the city, and there's one turn to get to the highway to go to
I'm new to
Calgary.
this. I'm new.
And we
I'm new here.
missed it.
I don't go here.
We missed it.
I missed it.
And because I think Emily was just so worried that I was like her driver's ed teacher and that I was sitting next to her. And
It was the first time we ever like connected. Well, that's not true. Like we've hung out outside just on
but
like
this was our
birthdays.
This was our first like professional like thing together. And so you felt really like nervous about like driving your
Nervous.
boss to Calgary while
Yeah.
I was also
Pregnant. I was like, I have precious cargo. Like I cannot. Nothing can happen. She's pregnant. She's
I was, like,
precious.
7 or 8 months pregnant
Yeah.
too. So I was like heavily
I was
pregnant.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Both hands on
There
the
was-
wheel.
There was a lot of pressure.
It was.
And then it turned out that I didn't actually prepare the
Did not
entire
once.
way.
Did not once prepare or touch her laptop.
Listen, Emily and I have really inspiring, meaningful conversations.
Once we get going.
Once we get going, we just can't stop. And so
Shut up.
and so So we just talked and we sang the entire way.
All right. You showed me Taylor Swift.
We sang Taylor Swift.
Yep.
And you showed me a lot of old country music.
Yeah. Yeehaw.
Yeah. Because we were driving to Calgary. Listen, you have to have some yeehaw music on the way to Calgary.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, and in that showcase,
Right.
we listened to a lot of presentations. We got there. It turned out I was second last of the day after. There was, how many presentations were there? Like 30. So there was so many.
So many ChatGPT presentations.
And so I got to sit there basically crapping my pants the entire day.
The entire day.
Just like preparing and like whispering to myself of like what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And it was terrifying because I don't love the idea of public speaking, but once I like get into it, then I feel okay.
Right.
And I do enjoy presenting, but I don't like the feeling of like
waiting for that moment where you have to walk on stage,
and
right?
not knowing like how people are gonna like perceive me and everything. And then I get to the stage when it's finally my turn, and my presentation doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I was standing there looking like an idiot, and I was like, "Help! It's not
Help me! Help me right now!"
And I feel like everyone was so tired and like done.
No, and they
for the
are.
day.
We had a whole day of taking in information and perspectives and presentations and a lot of like individual learning. And so everybody was like, "I'm done. Who's this lady with the presentation that's not working? I want to go home." But you crushed it. We fixed it. They fixed it.
They fixed it,
Yep.
and I feel like I did okay.
You were the best one, and I'm not just saying that because you spoke from true experience of flight and the experience and impact that it had on your son.
Yes, yeah, that was a huge thing for me. Was raising my son in a flight way because I was pregnant when we started the daycare, and then when I came back, he was suddenly a baby in our daycare, and I was also like in the middle of my like flight growth experience. And so I really like took flight in every aspect of my life, and I did flight stuff at home with my son. And then when he would go to daycare, everything that I was like thinking was like for him, and it really helped me like dig in because I really wanted him to have that like flight experience that I had been learning about. Because I saw how it impacted kids.
Exactly.
And that was huge for me. And just like watching the way that it helped him really like dig into his personality and like find his own. Because also, if you remember, which I'm sure you do, he was the kid who didn't participate.
Never. He just wanted cars, and that is it. And I have been his educator for 3 years. And a good year and a half, if not 2, were spent not participating and being with cars.
And like isolating himself almost because he didn't love getting dirty. He didn't love sensory. He didn't love any of that stuff. And
I know. I remember having so many conversations with you about like what am I doing wrong? Like what is he like? What can I do to get him to be a part of the community and like build those social skills and make friends, and like what am I doing wrong? Like this is what I'm trying. And it was like he just really wants his monster trucks and he wants to sit by himself.
He loves cars and monster trucks.
It was a process.
Yes. But then you really pulled through for him because that was when you started using his cars and his monster trucks as instruments in his play. And that it wasn't just that the car had to go down the slide or play in the parking garage, but then suddenly you were bringing him into these learning experiences where he was allowed to bring his car and his monster truck into sensory play with him. And that it didn't have to be that he had a paintbrush. And I cannot tell you how many paintings I brought home with monster truck
Tire
tires.
tracks only.
Tire track painting.
But
and
that's
he would
fine.
come home and he would want to do monster truck painting.
But guys, it's so fine to have that.
It totally is. And that was such a gateway for him in his flight experience, because once he got to experience sensory and messy play and all of that, he also like kind of fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes he was willing to like put the car down, and do something else as well. But just the ability and the freedom that he had to bring in that comfort item into his sensory play was so huge for him. And I feel like there was so much of like, oh, like you can't bring a car into the slime because then it's gonna get dirty,
Dirty.
or
It's gonna get
it's gonna
dirty.
get wrecked,
Oh
or
my
whatever. And so
goodness.
he never wanted to participate because he couldn't bring in what he wanted to do. And suddenly they were following his interests, and the car could come in, and the monster truck could come, and it broke everything open for him. And so
It
that
really
was
did. His evolution has been insane from being the very like quiet to himself kid to now quite literally the jokester, the popular one, the
the
football
star of the
player, the
show.
jockey. Yeah, and like is just so outgoing and is taking in all of his experiences and bringing others in, and I'm so proud of him. Like that's one of the best parts of being an early childhood educator is building those relationships and watching children grow and being there for their milestones. And like you have to take credit, give yourself like a pat on the back because it's not easy, and
Yes.
like you are the facilitators of that growth. It's a big deal, it's a big job.
I really feel deep within my soul that flight changed his life, like changed the outcome of who he would have been if he hadn't had it.
Yeah, if he hadn't had the opportunity to be himself.
Exactly, exactly. And even just like the freedom to experience what he wanted to, what interested him, instead of being thrown into things that he didn't have any interest in, and being forced to do dinosaur month when he didn't like dinosaurs,
Yeah.
or Arctic animals. Like he wanted Lightning McQueen and he wanted his monster trucks, and that was it. But he was given the freedom to bring it all in, and just like it opened so many doors for him, and now he has such a wide array of interests. I mean, I'll be honest, the monster trucks and the cars are still very, very
Yeah.
present, but they're not his entire personality anymore.
No, he's grown.
He's grown so much, and that really was proof of concept for me, that flight works.
And that is why your presentation was the best.
Yes, I felt really good about it. And I feel like also in that showcase, that it also was again the next level of catalyst that helped us move into our next era.
Yeah. And let me tell you what the catalyst was. It was us sitting at a table for a day, and in between presentations and what they had to offer, we started our own conversation and just having, because like we would talk at work, we would talk in the office, we would talk after staff meetings, but never really sit down and talk. And we got the opportunity to do that. And with the content that was provided and the people that we were surrounded with that were also sitting at our table and where we could connect and have community, things started flowing. There was a
Yes.
big breakthrough. I very tragically got a back injury that took me out of a passion before I was ready. And at the time, and it even still is kind of hard to process, but like it was kind of like a sign of like removing myself from it, because you know what, I probably never would have left. I would have just like stayed there and like stuck it out and like did everything that I possibly could, but having that injury made me forcibly remove myself from the career, and I honestly felt like really lost, and I felt sad because there was so much work left to be done and so many conversations that still needed to be had, and I felt like I couldn't be a part of that anymore, and that was the end of the journey. So it was really upsetting to walk away, and I don't know, feel maybe that I had failed in a way and that I couldn't do the things that we promised to ourselves in the growth of the field. And I thought that I was done. It was very sad days for me. And then, I felt, I don't know, maybe embarrassed a little bit to like leave, and I don't know. It was a big change for me, and I didn't know if I could ever face you again.
It did set us back in the way that you didn't get to go out on like a high note. It was like you were being your body
Broken
was really
down.
like kicking you out of this field. It felt like
It was
and at the time I had also just had my baby and my second baby, and I wasn't quite ready to I guess like explore the next steps. And it was all about timing for us, was that we were waiting for the right timing, and it was like, oh, just like hold out until I'm ready now, because now I have the baby, and like
Yeah.
I need to like take that time.
I tried to stay as long as I could. There's a picture that maybe you guys will see one day. But it's a picture of me out in the backyard, and like I'm literally crawling on the ground. Not for funsies, for the sake of I can't walk. I can't stand. I'm injured, but gosh, do I love these kids and I want to push through.
Wanted to be
and
there
and
so
so it's a
bad.
picture of me crawling in the backyard, and the kids were like, "Oh, we're doing an animal race." And so they're all like in bear pose, like on hands and feet, walking across, and I'm just like crawling in pain. But I'm like, yes, it's animal race time.
Yep,
We're
this
doing
is the
it.
activity.
And you know what? Everybody had to be like, Emily, go home. I'm like, no. Like,
No.
I just wanted to be there so bad I couldn't face the reality of stepping away. But you know what? Then also
I
that,
think-
that weird time of just like, I knew that there was something more.
I think it was so necessary though, because also like there's that idea of feeling safe, and you really felt safe in your role at the center.
I did.
And you it's so hard to like want to leave and to take that next step when you have that feeling of safety. And so then when you left, that's when both of us were like,
Whoa.
we need to do something immediately before we lose each other.
Yeah.
We'd built such a connection on flight and the kids, and just like wanting to make this industry better for everybody and for educators, and to just like provide people with what we had been looking for all this time.
Yeah.
And so your injury really just like forced us to take that next step.
Yeah.
And even though I'm still on maternity leave,
I'm still injured.
and you're still injured,
Very much so.
We're still like doing the thing, and we're ready to take it to the next step, where we feel like we can start a community of educators that want to grow and learn and not gatekeep information, and to just be together and just meet each other honestly.
Build friendships and relationships, and like
Yes.
we
Like-
have so much in store for what this could be. We've been dreaming about this for 3 years.
And listen, like when we were at that the showcase, we sat with two educators from a different center in Red Deer.
Right.
And we loved talking to them. Just having a different perspective and learning things that people just did differently than us.
Yeah.
And seeing the beauty in that, and taking some of their ideas and some of their knowledge, and even just like being able to just like talk about the bad days that we also have, and that feeling of connection, and that other people are going through what we're going through too. But it's just that we don't talk about it with them.
We need that community. We need that space to
And
be able
even
to share.
It gets to a point where like even you've learned so much from the people in your center too, that it just again like feels stagnant and plateaued, and that there's nowhere else to go from there. And then you meet someone else from a different center, and it just like re-inspires you and opens up
Yeah.
a whole new way of thinking. And so I guess that's where the educators table was really born was just like through the desire to want to connect and be a part of other educators' lives, to make friends, make connections based off of the desire to make our industry better for the kids. No agenda, to just learn from each other and be together.
Yeah.
Daycares and early childhood education wouldn't be what it is without the educators.
No.
And we need to like foster the inspiration to stay in the field, because it's so hard these days, and I feel like we just need that connection to constantly stay inspired, and we get that from each other. And if we stay separate and in our own centers, it just feels like
missed opportunity, first of all.
Yeah, totally. And so like through the educators table, we just really want to connect and start conversations and just
like know that you belong here.
Yeah.
Like you are where you're meant to be, and this is the space for you. This is the space for everybody that's willing to learn, and somebody that's been wanting more like us, or somebody that really feels isolated, or somebody that feels like they haven't experienced the development that they needed in their career, or just you're looking for friends, or like-minded people, or you just have so many ideas and you don't feel heard at your center, you don't feel seen. This is the space for you.
Yeah. This is the space.
I wish I had the educators table. You know what? And so it's time that we put our foot down and we give the people what they need, what they want. It's time.
Yes, it is. It is. And so we're hoping that with this podcast and with the conversations that we're going to have with each other, and then also have with other
special guests,
other educators in the industry who are doing really cool things, we want to be the resource that you need, that maybe you don't even know that you need. I am all in. Life is my classroom, and I'm just a student, and
I'm really cute.
I'm always learning, and I'm just so excited for all of the things that are to come, and the things that people are going to bless me with, the knowledge.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
We're ready. Let's go.
Don't cry.
I'm in.
Come grab your chair at our table.
It's going to get good.
It's going to get really good.
Let's just grow together, and let's have some good
conversations. Let's grow together. Like, we can't wait to meet you guys.
And let's just build this industry together, and let's raise the bar.
Raise the bar. Raise the standard.
The kids deserve it, and you guys deserve it.
You deserve it.
We all deserve it. Thanks for listening to our first episode of the Educators Table podcast. Tune into our next episode where we speak to educator Hannah Chenier about our experience with a biting epidemic in our toddler room and how we handled it. See you next time.